Okie dokie, boys and girls, it is day 301 of bulking to 75 kilos with calisthenics only, and today is the day, you know. I've been yapping about tapering and deloading for the entire week, and it was for today's purpose. So today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attempt 500 squats with 50 or actually 52 kilos on my shoulders. Now, this is an insanely hard workout, you know. Until now, the most reps I've done with 50 kilos in total in a workout is, I think, something shy of 300 reps. So it's gonna be quite a lot of volume added. And basically, the way I'm gonna do that is by making the rest time longer. So I've mentioned it during this week as well, but when it comes to endurance workouts, like when you allow yourself to recover in between sets and you allow yourself to basically go on for longer and do bigger volumes, the workout becomes harder because you're able to do more, you're able to go for longer. And that's exactly what I'm gonna attempt today. Normally, I do a set every 2 minutes and I just get tired right away, and then I, I dig deep for a couple sets and then I just fall down. But today I'm gonna increase the rest time. I'm gonna do one set every 3 minutes instead of every 2 minutes. And I don't know how this is gonna go, but I'm hoping to get to 25 sets of 20, which would equal 500. Now, something a lot of people might catch on to is like, isn't that too much volume? You know, you don't need that much volume, right? And you're entirely correct. You know, you don't need that much volume, but you know, sometimes I feel like people are aiming for the efficiency too much when it comes to training. You know, you're trying to get strong, you're trying to build a good physique, but we all know that, you know, a good physique comes from hard work. Great strength comes from hard work. So why are you trying to make it as easy as possible, you know? If you just do hard things repeatedly, eventually you're going to become strong, you're going to build a better physique, and that's what I want to do here. So is it junk volume? No, because every set here, I'm going to have to put 52 kilos on my shoulder. That in alone is uncomfortable, you know? I have to pass a hurdle in my mind to do it. And then I'll have done like 2 or 3 sets and realize that I still have 22 to go. Like, that's fucking insane. And because, you know, it's such an insane training, right? You have this long period of time, like 75 minutes in today's case, right? Where you're just uncomfortable doing hard things, but you're telling yourself there's gonna be an end to this, let's keep going. And that's like a mindset that you're cultivating, you know? If, you know, training, the most efficient training is basically, you know, doing intense training, you know? Intense training is gonna build you strength, intense training is gonna build you muscle. But when it comes to intensity, a big part of it is your mindset. So if you're always trying to take shortcuts and try the most efficient training, perhaps it's not going to be efficient in the end because you're not training yourself to actually push yourself, you know? That's very important too. So, you know, let's see what happens today. I really don't know what's going to happen. And I don't know if it's maybe oversharing, but like, I think I ate something wrong and I've been dealing with some, well, you know.
I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea.
And yeah, I might have to take some breaks in between to go to the toilet, but in any case, I'm gonna try my best and get 25 sets today, you know, some way, somehow. Or another, right? So let's get going. Set number 1 down, burning already, but 24 to go. What the fuck? Okay. Holy shit. 25 sits. In the end, I did have to take some more rest time, like 3 to 4 minutes. I feel like my stamina was like actually weaker than last time. Maybe because, you know.
Call an ambulance, please.
Okay, hold on. Where does it hurt?
My stomach. ちゃんと痛いけど痛い。
Okie dokie, Timmy of the future is taking over because Timmy of the past did not have any brains left over to speak, you know. I had some fruit, I had some salt in my water, I'm feeling better now, I had a shower. And yeah, basically, let me explain to you why this is not a junk volume session, you know. We all know that when you have intense workouts, you're gonna make the most gains, right? But let's say that the standard that everyone wants to approach is do a couple exercises with 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps, right? I mean, you get used to that at some point, you know? You get used to it and you're not scared of your workouts anymore. Oh, you know, I'm at set number 3 and I did 12 reps, well, I guess that's enough. Even though you had more in the tank, or vice versa. Oh shit, you know, set number 2, I'm only getting 6 reps, well, I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Well, if you have these long trainings, right, where, you know, you do insane amount of volume, even though, you know, the first part isn't even that intense and it doesn't feel like you're going to your limit, you're still putting yourself into a situation where you come halfway through that training and it fucking sucks, right? But you've already spent so much energy. You're in this situation that you can't give up easily because if you fail, you're gonna have to go through all of this again, you know? At set number 10 and 12, I was already thinking like, holy shit, I'm weaker than last week. What the hell am I gonna do? Am I gonna make 25 sits? Well, I had no choice but to continue because if I didn't, I would have to, you know, go back and do it all again, right? The next time I train. And I don't want to do 10 sets of, or 12 sets of 20 reps again. It fucking sucks every time. It burns from, like, right at the start, you know, you already feel the burn. And so you're cornering yourself, basically, right? You're putting yourself in this situation where you have to go for it. You have to go for broke. You have to give it your all, your max intensity. And that's what's going to give you the gains, you know. There is this pattern that I'm sure you will recognize when you look at people and the amount of gains that they make. You have people who worry about how much they have to do, and you have people who worry about doing as much as they can. Now, which one of those is going to make the most gains? It's not even a question, right? So, like, one advice that I would give for beginners is, yeah, one advice for, like, when you're starting out on calisthenics or starting out in the gym, you're just trying to build a physique. If I could give one advice, it's just to not worry about your physique at all. It's just to become stronger in every area, every rep range, everything you can imagine, right? Because if you become stronger at a planche or a front lever, pull-ups, dips, bench, running, whatever, if you become more athletic, you're gonna build an athletic build. That's just how it works. So don't worry about how much you have to do. Just worry about how much you can do, worry about how much you can improve, how much you can become stronger, and everything will just fall into place. But yeah, that's it for today's workout. Very happy with how it went, of course, because I'm completely empty. I don't need to do any finisher sets. I'm done. I'm gonna spend a large part of the remainder of the day on the couch watching One Punch Man, actually. Season 3 is out, so let's go. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for a hamstring day. Oh shit. Alright, there we go.